disclosure up. I am an associated member of T3 Trading Group, which is an SEC registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA SIPC. All of my trades are placed through T3 Trading Group. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your own financial condition. It'll be in there. There's the position disclosure. It's the same, except I got some NVDA options on to help hedge the short that I'm holding into the report. It's going to be one of those afternoon meetings. I apologize in advance. I'm not sure how much of an afternoon meeting it's actually going to be because I am going to be managing my NVIDIA position here after hours after the report. So if it's a really exciting move here in NVIDIA, it's not going to be much of an afternoon meeting. If it's a boring move in NVIDIA, I still can't make any promises. Yeah, I'm short. I bought a call spread to hedge myself on the short a bit, hedge some of the size at least. So we'll see. Yeah, I will. I won't be able to share my level 2 on the screen share because it shows my size and bids and offers and stuff. But I will definitely do my best to communicate what I see. My bids are really shallow, my first bids, compared to the measured move. Roughly, I'm looking at a NVIDIA measured move down to like 170 on the downside and like 193.50 on the upside. Nah, I don't want to change that, Pat, but appreciate the offer. We got snow out. Snow's up big. Report looks good. CrowdStrike is getting hit lower. They're out as well. NVIDIA is expected at 420. The market was once again today strong but kind of sloppy and choppy. SPYs going into the NVIDIA print are up about 0.25% on the day. Qs are up 0.15. IWM is up 0.6. The only thing I really day traded today was actually NVIDIA, and I did pretty well with it. It's a separate trade from my swing management. NVIDIA's ticked up about 80 cents into the report here after hours. I hate when they do that. Even when it's in my favor, I hate when they give that decent sized move prior to the report even coming out, but especially when it's against my position. We'll see. China side's going to be interesting. China side's going to be really interesting. I don't know what they're really expecting from it, but like Bill was saying, they wrote off a lot of that H20 inventory, and now it could be profit again. But we've also seen headlines come out from the Chinese government saying to avoid buying the U.S. chips, but obviously they need to buy some of them when they can because of the best ones that are out there, from my understanding. Curious to see if any AMD competition slips into the NVIDIA guidance. So, we'll see. We had a couple interesting intraday pullbacks today also, where it felt like all the liquidity just kind of vanished. Like that one at 310, 315 on volume with no news there. Just was a roll down, but then they bought it all the way back up. There was one at like 12:30 today also, and they instantly bought that right back up. So, just shows you how that liquidity can vanish. Yeah, yeah, Avago, Taiwan Semiconductor should definitely move with NVIDIA in sympathy, probably pretty closely. To some degree, it should move everything. We shall see. 4 more minutes. Less than 4 more minutes. No, more than 4 more minutes. 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Sorry, I'm giddy. I'm giddy with excitement with for our little NVIDIA watch party we have going on. I'm scared. I don't really have anything else to say about today, actually. It's really just been anticipating the video all day. I'm supposed to go to a Brazilian barbecue joint for dinner tonight. But I told him I was like 7:30 at the earliest because NVIDIA is reporting. Yeah, I've never done Brazilian barbecue. I've done Korean, Japanese, Chinese. I will be.
Derrick's never not.
I'm never not hungry. Wait, you gotta bring my eating pants. Open that belt up a little bit. Pick on ha? I don't know it. I'm sure. An Argentinian soccer jersey at a Brazilian restaurant? I feel like you're trying to get me in trouble. 2 minutes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're walking it up a little bit in front of the report, but we'll see. Nothing compared to what's priced in. I'll be so surprised if the initial reaction is not higher, honestly. I feel like it could go down, but I feel like even if it goes down, the numbers are going to beat, and there's going to be a quick initial reaction up before any selling comes in. That's even if there is selling. John, those would be spots to look at based on the implied move, and they do sometimes hold as support or resistance on the first test, but it's not a guarantee, and on really bad earnings or really good earnings, sometimes they do blow right through the implied numbers. But yeah, it's roughly what I'm looking at.
Hold the line.
Josh, please don't curse while I'm on the YouTube. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Good luck to me. Good luck to me.
Here we go.
I got the bids out.
Bids out. Offers out.
Yeah, 184 to 185 is huge resistance. Seeing a slight uptick. I don't know if it's out. Yeah, not out yet. That's not what the tape looks like when it's out.
No, sir.
But we are still ticking up here.
Unless it's already out on their unless it's on their investor relations website.
We're ticking up further.
And that's why some people are already upticking.
Ticking up further. This is not dramatic. I don't see any numbers out, so I don't know what this is. Not on Bloomberg, not on Reuters. But we're up $1.50. Ah, there we go. There's a down move. There's a down move. The first bid's lower. Oh, first bid's a little bit lower. Come on. Oh my God, I didn't get filled by such a small amount at that low. There we go. There we go.
Good news, Jim? Good news? Yeah, boy.
There we go. Third quarter revenue is expected to be $54 billion plus or minus 2%. Palantir trading down, Tesla trading down, Q's trading down. I was able to cover some 174s. It's not like down by the measured move, at least not yet, but we got to watch for that. Palantir trading lower. There's another dollar down in NVDA. Covered more. Little pop back. So I gotta figure this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Covered 1, 2, 3, 4. I can cover one more. Stock is kind of ranging here. I haven't even been able to read the numbers. I've just been trading it too hard.
It could bounce a little bit because the numbers don't. They had no sales to China in 2Q. In 2Q, that's why.
Have we seen? Has a guidance been released? I
Yeah,
can't even look at the numbers.
They raised by $2 billion.
Can you read the numbers out loud, Josh, if you're able to?
On the guidance.
Bill's got it all on the VTF there. I can't actually read it.
52.9 to 55.1 versus 53.46. Gross margin. Honestly, the numbers are not good enough, but the fact that there's no China sales in there, and people expect that to pick up next quarter. It could bounce a little bit, but it's not going to highs. Let's put it that way. This is a short on any bounce. They also say guidance doesn't include.
Been holding this 175 as resistance. I think it's printed through it on the tape, but then comes right back in. I haven't been able to watch the tape super closely just because of my execution, but I've gotten filled on the offer basically at 175 like 5 times, then it drops $1 or $2, and I cover some on the bid. There, it just broke. We'll see if it snaps right back through down again, which it just did. Yeah, they're like releasing that 175, selling, and then jamming it back through. I actually love when I see something like that in the tape. It's like they shake everybody out, then rip it the other direction. NVIDIA. I keep trying to look over and read what Bill's posting and then getting filled. I gotta get some offers out a little bit higher in case that 175 does break. They keep holding that 175 on these retests, but they also keep retesting it over and over and over again. It's not like we're back down to 170. Looks like we probably will break through this 175 on the upside at some point. We may have just done it right there. Let's see if they jam it back down again. But that seems like more of a real break higher to me. Buy the blips.
There's the bounce because of no China sales so far.
Some more offers out, then I can try to look at these numbers. But we are moving. We're bouncing back decent. What was that measured move down to? 174? Is that what it was? Must have been. I'm pretty sure. Something like that. I want to get 2 more offers out if I can. Alright, cool. Now let's try to manage this while I read what came out here. Alright. There were no... I can't read it. There were no H20 sales to China-based customers in the second quarter. Just double-filled myself there. Will pay next quarterly cash dividend of 1 cent per share on October 2nd. So that enables the dividend funds to be able to buy 1 cent per share. NVIDIA approves an additional $60 billion buyback. If you're a bull, you love a buyback. You love a buyback. That was one of the things I was worried about, actually, with the short, is if the numbers were a little bit worse than expected, that they would pad it with a buyback. NVIDIA's second quarter networking revenue... second quarter networking revenue is a big beat, 7.25 billion versus estimates of 5.07. NVIDIA sees third quarter revenue 52.9 to 55.1 billion versus estimates of 53.5. That's not that great. It's not that great. It's a beat. It's a beat on the midpoint, but I don't think that's that great on that revenue guide personally. But the stock's starting to trade okay here. Almost back to 180. This thing might end up being flat. Gotta get some more offers back out. Alright. What's next? Blackwell architecture grew 17% sequentially. NVIDIA sees third quarter adjusted gross margin. That's basically in line also, the third quarter. I don't like in-line numbers for this report. To me, anything that's kind of in line or very small beat, I read as a negative. So I don't like that third quarter revenue and gross margin guidance personally. Cloud service providers, about 50% of data center revenue. down here a little bit. Blackwell is the AI platform the world has been waiting for. Okay, during the first half of fiscal 2026, NVIDIA returned 24.3 billion to shareholders. I assume that's in the form of dividends and buybacks. They got a lot more, and they're adding a lot more. So again, they're to me, it seems on this initial read, I haven't gotten through everything yet, that they're padding kind of, you know, good number. I mean, the numbers are great. It's just they're not necessarily great compared to, like, I think, whisper number expectations. But they're padding a little bit with the additional buyback. Yeah, and we still haven't heard Jensen actually speak. NVIDIA is calling out the China data center revenue and removing it from the go-forward projections. That sounds like another negative to me. 170, basically, the measured move to the downside, not 174. I don't know where I got 174 from. The low was like 172. I got a nice fill at 172.01. The low is 171.86. To help Wall Street set a baseline for what's expected, very volatile. This is clearly a disappointment for those who automatically assumed the floodgates would open. Yeah, that's how I read that. The China floodgate's not opening. Sorry, Chris. You know I always go all ones. I don't really ever sit at the whole numbers. So I'll sit a penny above it. Second quarter revenue is only a $0.5 billion beat.
But
also,
again, they're writing off all of China. They're saying they sold nothing in China, and they did not include China in guidance. On the conference call, they're going to guide China. It's still bounced based on China. That's the big key.
Got you. You're at 171.01.
So they're padding the numbers by saying basically our numbers weren't great, but we also haven't said anything to do with China yet.
Got you. Thank you, Josh. All right, and I assume the conference call's at 5. I think Josh is flat. Josh is
short.
flat. Oh, you're short?
Yeah, I shorted some at 179.20.
That was a great bounce back as I'm looking at this chart. I was doing too many things at once.
And I'm covering some now. But
This was a great bounce back to almost 180, but it's where the after hours 5-minute ADMA was, and you can expect, again, we know that like 179.50, 180 area has been a really, really big level for this stock every day. So they sold it down through that. They bounced it back to the level, which was in conjunction with the after hours ADMA on the 5-minute to sell it back down. It's a great spot to potentially short some. Thanks, Steven, for putting that in the YouTube.
I covered my snow short also. I don't know if anybody followed me in snow.
All right, let me try to watch this tape a little bit, see if there's anything interesting going on. It's just doing too much at once there. Yeah, I think that's okay, Brent. I show those sometimes in the meetings on these days. And all of my options are hopefully going to expire worthless, which I'm fine with. I'll take a very small loss if all my options expire worthless. Definitely worth the insurance. I bought 192.50 calls, sold 200 calls, but also sold 160 puts around the short. Is the Y in the little blurb that Bill K posted at 4:30? Is that the Y? For you there, Eli? All right, so our initial reaction low is basically 172, and our snapback high is 179.50. So those are the after-hour levels that I'm noting in my head for the moment. They're important, and I really, if you're bearish, you do not want to see this thing get back above that 179.50 to 180, because then the stock's getting back to flat, but it's also recapturing a really important daily chart level. And the tape just seems to be kind of fluttering back and forth here. I'm not really seeing anything too significant. A little bit of buying at 177 right there. They hit the 177 bid pretty hard. I didn't see any size, but it held, so it means that there's hidden buying going on there. Exactly, Mr. Old YouTube. I mentioned it real briefly. I did a decent amount of day trading in NVDA today. Some of that is a mixture of swing management, and some of that was actual day trading that I was doing on my dots from earlier in the trading session today. And then you see nothing in the last 30 minutes because at that point I was out of the day trade and not going to adjust the swing any further. So they broke, what did I just say? 177 bought a little bit, so clearly they broke that. I wasn't watching again. Try to take a closer look. Seems like it's heavy. They're hitting it. 176. 176 is buying. They broke it. So, like, a couple of things I'm looking for, you know, when I'm watching the tape here after hours, is basically refreshing buying and selling. So when you see a certain amount of size, usually it takes place at whole numbers, on a bid or an offer, and they hit that bid, let's say, for more than the size that's showing, then you know that there's some sort of a hidden buyer there. And then when I see that, I'm watching the degree to which the additional buying is actually occurring. The degree to which the additional buying is occurring beyond what I'm seeing as the extra liquidity. Sometimes it's like, all right, you know, just a little bit, they hit it and then they broke it. But other times you might see something really significant, like, wow, they're hitting that level so hard and it won't break, and there's no size there. There's a lot of, you know, hidden liquidity that's there that's holding the stock up in that zone. That becomes really notable. The other thing I look at is when you see kind of a similar situation, but then they break the level. So let's say 175 is buying, you see it buying a little bit, but then 175, the bid disappears, so they break the level. It drops 25 to 50 cents and then immediately crosses back above 175. So when you see that, it's like, all right, there was a hidden buyer there, and then because he wanted to be able to buy more, lifted the bid to get extra sellers to come in below that, whether that's longs that are stopping themselves out or momentum shorts that are entering the position, and then that buyer crosses all the offers back through 175 and comes back on the bid at 175. I think that's what we were seeing initially on the offer at 175 when it was below it, and then obviously that broke. Those are the couple, like, the main things I'm looking for in the tape. You know, when I'm trading here after hours, or sometimes I'm looking for, like, inside bid right now is at like 4,000 shares on the bid on NASDAQ. It's at 35 cents. I'll watch, like, they print that whole 4,000 shares and it immediately comes back, or it comes back at like 4,000 shares again, but at a little bit of a different price, but on the same ECN. That also is sometimes a signal that there's a buyer that's, like, really working an order there, and that's how that buyer is working that order. Again, the tape tends to trade a lot more pure in earnings reports and after-hour sessions, because it's like we talked about, those liquidity-providing robots, they only provide liquidity when they want to, and in times of uncertainty, like right before a Fed meeting, you see all those bids and offers disappear, even in, like, the SPY. It's because they're like, we don't want to deal with this. So all that liquidity disappears right in front of an event. So it tends to be like here after hours with this NVIDIA that it's more human beings that are actually trading it and less robots than in a typical tape. It's not that there's no robots, there definitely are, but less so, and it makes that tape trade a little bit more pure. It makes it a little bit more readable. So otherwise, in just normal market environments, tape reading, I think, is not a great skill to have anymore. But after hours on news, it can be pretty useful. For the first time since ChatGPT was launched, NVIDIA today missed estimates for data center sales. That sounds like a negative. I based on the numbers I read, I would really actually be expecting NVIDIA to trade much lower. So it must be exactly what Josh was talking about. Let's see what happens with the conference call. Let's see what they say on China. So we had a really nice initial reaction lower, but now it's holding in okay.
You also have the buyback, which is going to.
And the buyback's definitely padding it too.
But the stock should be like if they come out and say China, we're not thinking anything for China over the next 3 quarters.
They're gonna smoke the stock down.
Smoked.
Yeah, we'll be seeing 160s.
But I think that's what's holding us up now, is kind of waiting to see what.
Let me see what my lowest bid is right now. My lowest bid is down at like 165. Probably should get more out at a certain point.
Let me put it another way. My inclination here is you want to be short unless the tone changes on the conference call. This is not enough for this stock to be at all-time highs.
175 has been pretty important here since the report. When it initially traded below it, they were selling at 175. Now they just held it a couple times in a row there on the bid side. So we'll watch that 175. Where did Palantir get down to? That was a nice little sale on that Palantir. What are the Qs doing? Qs are down. Tell. Whoa. Little false tail there in the NVIDIA. Robert in the YouTube says, Derrick, can you please ask Josh what was his reason to short at 179 spot 20?
Hold on. My chart's all messed up because of this weird tick here, which has fixed itself. Just kind of the initial bounce back into the ADMA and the extension,
that's the right spot to do, and that's just the technically right spot to do.
I just got lucky that I happened to get it at 21. I just got.
It's
it
also
could have been anywhere. I just put it out. I hit the bid.
It's also the daily level.
Yeah, I just kind of got lucky with where it filled, that I happened to catch the dead top right there, but.
Why is this NVIDIA pricing chart is wrong right now?
But it was really just the initial bounce back after ferocious selling. I didn't think those numbers were good enough to take us back through the highs and all of a sudden just run away. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to short some here.
It's what you have to be able to do, and it's very hard because it's so fast. You want to be able to try. For me, I was more focused. I was holding a position into it. If I was flat, I'd be looking at that level and the snapback, trying to read the numbers in conjunction at the same time to have an understanding of all right, are these numbers weak enough that it should hold this resistance level,
right,
and therefore I should be trying to short this bounce back into this equilibrium zone on the after hours 5-minute, which is in conjunction with the daily level. Let's watch what happens here in NVIDIA 175. If they retest it, we're 30 cents away, 40 cents away.
really get down to 45 after hours? Wow, it's like snap back there. Pay attention. I'd like to get one more fill just
What's
above
happening there?
175 before the conference call, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to.
Hold on. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I agree with what Rock said. The Qs are barely down, considering the video's not up. Like barely down. I don't even understand what's going on there.
Is the low print in T triple Q of 8890 accurate after hours? Like, I'm assuming it is. Yeah, the false prints are so annoying.
Is the low print? I think so. Because in the video was down there 190. I don't know how these false prints are.
Apple's trading up after hours because dispersion is still happening even after hours right now. Here's a 175 test.
Alright, I just got filled on a little more.
Here's a 175 test. See if anything interesting is going on the tape. Showing 15,000 shares on it. I think they printed some of that. Doesn't really matter. They didn't print enough into the 175 for me to be able to read anything off of it. They're holding it, but they didn't hit it aggressively. You want to see a seller just driving down. 175.40 just sold on the offer, and you could see those big prints going off on NASDAQ. Sold like 4,000 or 5,000 shares, and it got hit multiple times. That's what I want to see. I want to see that seller stepping down, and or the buyers that just bought into it having to puke into the 175 that causes the 175 to break. There it is, another 2,000 shares in one print, plus a 900 share print, several 200 share prints, 1,400 share print. It's only showing 100 shares on NASDAQ, guys. That is what a refreshing seller looks like. 175.40 on NASDAQ. I saw it. There's another 6,000 share print, 2,000 shares, 2,000 shares. So probably on that 100 share offer at 175.40, I don't know, 40,000 shares have gone off. And they broke it with a big uptick. But then let's see if that just steps back. Could be at 175.50. Seeing a little bit of selling at 175.50 on NASDAQ. It might have just stepped back 10 cents. It was not enough prints on the half for me to be able to really confirm it. 40 might be back. 40's back. They took 8,600 shares into the 175.40 on the offer there, and it's just showing 100. So we have a real seller here. I need to see if this real seller, though, can drive this through 175. If it can, all those buyers that just bought there are probably going to then puke that stock out, and you get a fast move down. So we got a little bit of a battle here between this 175 that's trying to hold on the bid, and there we go. Let's see if we can get a flush lower now. That 175 that's trying to hold on the bid, which they just crossed right back up. That's what I was talking about earlier, with the seller at 40. Size showed on NASDAQ for 25,000 shares at the quarter, 175 quarter. Most likely that's a different seller posting that 25,000 shares, most likely. But sometimes if that was the end of the selling, they show their size with their last bit. I'm assuming that was not the end of the seller. So let's keep an eye out for that NASDAQ fellow. Sounds good, Bill.
Why would the new seller would show his size just to, like, strong arm, like to
Yeah,
hey, let me throw my weight in here.
It could be that. Yeah. Try to scare the market down to the 175. Like you can see, they broke 175, but it's not like that dramatic flush through that you want to see. But now ARCA is selling at 175. So we'll see. They're still supporting this thing in this zone. It was definitely not the stop loss flush I wanted to see. We didn't even print down at a half on that. But yeah, now you got ARCA selling at 175. Selling big. Most likely, not. It's impossible to know. Most likely, that's a different seller. Yeah, there's the NASDAQ seller still there at 40. From my experience, most of the time when you find that buyer, that seller, they don't change ECN. So if I'm seeing this 174.40 seller on NASDAQ, and all of a sudden, 175.40 seller on NASDAQ, and then all of a sudden 175 is selling on ARCA, those are probably different sellers. So you might have actual multiple real sellers here trying to drive this thing lower, but it's still being well supported in this 175 zone. Again, not even a 50-cent flush on that break. I'm sure some stops triggered, but it seems like they triggered right into some buyer liquidity. Some NASDAQ selling now at 175. Not really enough for me to gain too much information, but there was like a 6K print that went off. $0.98, a few thousand shares went off. I can't imagine that's the same seller. Oh, what the hell just happened? Wow, did I just lose all my offers because my lockout triggered on a false print? It's a nightmare. Alright, I gotta get my offers back out. I just lost all my offers because that false print triggered my freaking lockout. No problem.
Okay, you should try sitting in his lap. It's even better when I get it from there.
Josh has never been allowed to sit on my lap while I trade. The NASDAQ 175.40 is still there. They broke the 40 and it lifted big, which that's the flip side of it also. It's like eventually everyone sees that 40, and if anybody wants to buy it, they're like, well, I'm not going to buy into the 40. I'll wait for the 40 to break. And that's smart, right? So not like what we just saw on the upside on the break of the 175.40 was what I wanted to see on the downside of the break of the 175, but I didn't get it. That 174.40 broke, and instantly it traded up 70 cents. Instantly. EDMA on the after hours 5s at 177 now. Nice. What Pat was Santa. I'm looking at both sides. I'm looking for natural buyers and natural sellers in the tape to garner information off of it. There wasn't as clear of a buyer. There was definitely a buyer because, like I said, when it broke through 175, it was running into all that liquidity and snapping right back above it. But there wasn't like as clear of an obvious buyer as there was the seller that was at the 175.40. Alright, let's see if our seller comes back. Seen some selling at 176 on NASDAQ.
Bring it back, bring it back. Does anybody have the link to the conference call?
Seeing a lot of selling at 176 on NASDAQ now. So our seller might be here. Again, this just could be a classic example of the seller lifting and coming back in at a higher price to work the order.
Thank you.
Because now look at ARCA's selling 176. That's what we saw selling 175 when it broke, was ARCA. Because, you know, really, the seller wants to get the best possible price. Like sometimes their goal might be to drive the thing lower because that helps the P&L when depending on their size. But if they're trying to accumulate like a short position or they're trying to sell out of a long position, especially if they're trying to sell out of a long position, they don't want to drive the stock down. So they want to measure that liquidity. If enough offers are getting taken, they can lift the offer and come back in at a higher price and sell at a better price. Oh my god, all my orders just canceled again on the offer. That is the... Pat, is there a way to fix that? Just flash my... That flash... just... It flashed it up to 225 or something, and that triggered my lockout. It's brutal. Brutal. Let's pump the orders back in. At least I'm only really doing it for this one stock. Not like if it happened during market hours and I lost 500 orders over the course of 20 stocks. It's a little more upsetting. Also making this chart impossible to read. EDMA on the 5 is slowly catching down, so we would say that time is a bear's friend, just from a technical analysis perspective. Decent move lower initially, creates downside extension, time satisfies that downside extension.
Please hold tight, the broadcast will begin shortly.
Oh, man. Some buying at the quarter now on NASDAQ. 176 quarter. The 10,000 share bid comes in at the half, but then I think it pulled. Yeah, they pulled. That bid pulled. Good stuff, Robert. Just seeing what you wrote. Alright, so the conference call should be about to get underway. Haven't seen much new. 176 quarter. You want to see that get lost. We're testing the ADMA on the 5 minute for the after hours action right around here. Let's see if that provides any selling. 21 is still further away.
If no leather jacket, I'm shorting everything I got.
I feel like sometimes they buy it up a little bit in anticipation of the conference call beginning.
NVDA, Trump's request for a percentage of revenue may lead to litigation. Nice. Gotta love that.
I thought that they already agreed to do it, though. I mean, litigation could come from a lot of places. Oh, they broke that 176 quarter, which is the last place I saw a buyer. It didn't necessarily seem huge or significant, so I feel like we're just kind of flopping back and forth here a little bit, waiting for the conference call to start. But we did hold that 80 EMA on the 5-minute after hours. There's a little bit of resistance on this touch, so it's a potential pivot high. If it wasn't right in front of the call, I would say you could even short off that 177. I'm a little late on saying that. I wouldn't say pay down $1. But if you could have gotten 50 cents risk on the way down off that 177, it would have made sense, I think. Yes, Dave S. Yes. Why do I not have 175 bid? Oh, yeah, it's there. It's there. That 175 still important on the downside. Now we have a new potential pivot high at 177. So 175 on the downside, 177 on the 175, and then 172 on the downside, 177, and then 179.50 area on the upside. Those are our key current levels. I like to pay attention when a company like NVIDIA reports after hours and trades on a lot of volume. Those levels may not only be important now in the after hours action, the importance of those levels may carry over into tomorrow's action. So I want to make sure that I note those for tomorrow. Already almost back to that 177. The conference call started, or not yet? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really use Benzinga. I mean, I like Benzinga a lot. They're great folks. They have me on their podcast, but I don't really personally use it. I just use the virtual trading floor. Or if I'm going to watch a conference call, which I'm not going to listen to this one because I'm still with you guys. Otherwise, I probably would. Then I just use whatever the kind of official link is for that company's call.
The woman speaking right now has a very calming voice.
Nice. Helping you with your Zen.
She's making me feel good about life.
What was the name of the food I need to get from the Brazilian barbecue spot that somebody told me about earlier? I think it started with a P.
It's everything. They'll just bring it out.
But he said they're known for their...
It's like the top...
Pavina or something?
Yeah, but that's the Brazilian name. It's just the top of the loin or something like that.
All right. Thank you, David Dean. Picana. Brazilian picana. Never had Brazilian barbecue before. I'm excited to
Oh,
try new things.
Fuck it up, come on.
I'm a big fan of trying new things in life. All the kinds of food. Nice. I'm not a big tequila drinker, Josh. I mean, like I said, gotta try it all, but we've talked about this. You don't want to hang out with me if the tequila shots are going around. No major movement here, but they're applying some upside pressure onto that ADMA. NVIDIA CFO says H20 revenue declined by about $4 billion. Here's a little selling coming in on the tape. They hit the bid. A 33,000 share offer came in. Back to being steady. Now there's some real buying coming in here. I don't know if they just said something.
She said some of our customers have received H20 licenses. We haven't shipped anything yet, and we also haven't included that in our outlook.
So the outlook is better. I almost feel like they're saying the outlook is better than what they already stated
Than what they're
earlier.
saying, because they didn't include China. China's going to expect it, like at a certain point, they're going to sell to China.
So market just broke up through that ADMA on the 5. That's if China wants it. If the technology's getting old, they might not want it. But that should be good news, at least for the stock for the moment. So we broke through that ADMA on the 5 on that headline. NVIDIA says $2 to $5 billion of H20 could be shipped to China. That was some of that uptick. I don't know if that is considered to be good or low or what. At a certain point, that number was considered to be 0. But more than 0 should be priced in by now. There's a buyer at the half, broke. They hit that buyer at the 177.50 really hard. There we go, back down. Maybe that $2 to $5 billion number is not enough. It's a pretty big upside tail. We're back below 177. I'd love to see that 177 hold as some resistance. Back above 177.
So if you include the 2 to 5 billion, that puts revenues at 56 to 59 billion, which would be above the whisper number of 55.
What's up, Will?
That's why you got that initial pop.
What's up, Will?
Yeah, so NVIDIA improving here a little bit as the news improves a little bit.
No, I'm still being off the fly.
Still wonder how much of that's priced in. I almost feel like even beating the whisper number by a little bit is not enough.
I agree.
You don't want to pay for that.
That's probably why it's not green.
Yeah, for sure.
I told you, when you have school and you gotta get back to class or anything, even if it's 2 days a week, look at the difference.
So that last little pivot high is at 178. The 21 EMA on the 5 is just above that.
Look at the parking in February, fucking walking there at 9
Wouldn't be
o'clock.
surprised seeing like an inside 5 build out here, but it's early.
I'm glad. I'm glad you did it. Yeah.
Well, it's not green yet, so. It's like AMD got hit a little bit, came back.
Well, then don't answer it right now.
AVGO got hit a little bit, came back. AMD's down more.
What's that?
Taiwan Semiconductors got hit a little bit, came back.
Well, that's what they do, right? Just send me an Instagram.
Stock is slowing down here.
All right, enjoy. Good luck. All right.
This inside 5 still building out here. Down tick back through 177. $177 sold a little bit, broke. Yeah, they're not holding it below 177 now. The 177 is almost acting a little bit like 175 was earlier, where they'll trade it below and then they'll really snap it right back up through. Here's an uptick. That uptick almost looked like something got said. So not an inside 5, they broke it up. Not sure if that was technical that just created the degree of the uptick there, or if something got said. Really could have been either when you think about the placement of the chart. Is John still short? I don't know who John is. I'm still short. That I can tell you. RTX Pro servers are in full production. All right, right back down on that quick snap up there. The high of that tail is also not real. It did not print above 178.50. It did not print above the 21 EMA. Oh, Josh. Josh, you still short?
No, my
Jo-
last cover was 174.81.
Josh got out into the 175 area on that down move when that buyer was there.
Yeah. But I would look to reshort it if I got a pop to like what? Oh, I just missed the pop to 179. But if I got back to 179,
No, it's not real. It didn't. It
Oh,
didn't
it
print
wasn't
that
real?
high.
All right, so if I got a pop back to like 179, which is the low from this morning, I'd probably put a little back on and then
I don't think it should be able to get back there at this point.
yeah, and then I'll let it go, like let it just hang without me then.
I need to get this YouTube to be a little clearer on the stream. Just looking at it, it's so foggy.
Junk platform, that YouTube. You need to
it's
really put some
it's
money
definitely
into it.
what I'm. It's definitely me. It's definitely not YouTube. $600 billion in data center capex expected in 2025, nearly 2 times over 2 years, driven by growth in both cloud and enterprise investments. NVIDIA expects annual AI infrastructure spending to keep growing, as reasoning-based AI requires significantly more compute for training and inference.
Inference.
I'm on like four nights in a row of not getting enough sleep, and tonight's gonna make it 5. It's late
Add
August.
to that,
I'm doing
70
too much.
pounds of barbecue.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be. My wife's gonna kill me. I'm just gonna be snoring like an absolute jerk tonight for sure.
Yeah, we already knew that, Brant. Anything that they sell to China, the government wants 15% of. That's why they're going to allow them to sell to China. We knew that. That's not new.
Tate. I'm not normally a snorer, but if you combine like having a few drinks with way too much food, that'll do it.
No equity. They just want you sell it, you give us 15%.
That's an export tax.
Yeah.
It's an export tax. Though Scott Bessent was saying today the possibility of a NVIDIA stake, right?
He did say that. But Sharir, I was just saying how calming I find this woman's voice.
Last earnings, AMD or Apple, I don't remember which one was it. When futures market opened after 6 p.m., they could start buying NQ due to NVIDIA earnings, which could push NVIDIA after 6 p.m. Yeah, for sure. It's always worth keeping in mind that 6 p.m. future start. It can bring in a whole new set of buyers or sellers. CoreWeave on the move here after hours. NVIDIA back below 177. Price action getting slow. Thank you, Sharir. Thank you, Josh. Little weakness coming in. You want to see this NVIDIA start by getting below the like 176 pivot low, and then 175 is a really big spot after that.
Core weave is just exploding on this, I think.
On which aspect of it?
Just that it was being dragged down by NVIDIA. And I wanted to buy core weave this week, and it got all the way to 92, and I missed it. I was too busy.
What is NVIDIA even saying here? Football? I thought this was going to be stocks.
No, football. Basically, every week you have to pick one game. You have to pick a winner of one game.
Yeah, I'm out.
And it can't be the same team as the last week.
Can I pick stocks instead?
Sure you could. You won't win, but you can pick stocks instead.
Have a good night, Brant. See ya, bud. I'm probably going to be wrapping up the afternoon meeting here soon. Is the conference call still ongoing? It is, right?
Yeah, it's still the CFO. He hasn't
even
started
spoken
talking.
yet? All right.
No.
All right.
He's peppering up the
We're kind
leather
of
jacket.
wedging out a little bit with this market. Grinding up a little bit. Boy. So Jensen's on next, right? I'm assuming.
I'm assuming.
Question is, let's say that NVIDIA settles down even further than this. What does this end up meaning for that AI trade that we've already seen weaken out in August? With these leaders losing momentum, Palantir, AMD, NVIDIA, can that translate into more equity market weakness, or is it just going to be further rotation? And the really interesting part would be, because NVIDIA weakness would be coming in right as we get to seasonal weakness in September, where it could build on itself. Was there an update on the CTA short-term trigger for this week that we saw? I don't recall. This week has been a blur for me. Today's Wednesday, right? Normally we see it yesterday morning. I definitely didn't see it yesterday morning. But that CTA first sell trigger should also be grinding up still, though.
There's no such thing as a CTA.
The spies are at all-time highs, though, basically coming into today.
CTAs are never selling again. Up.
Yeah, it's not even giving a blip down in the SPY daily chart. at this point. For sure, Robert. Have a good one. Robert in the YouTube. Have a good one, sir.
Q&A starting now.
Ooh, shakalaka.
Tanner Fitzgerald, first question.
Not even a dent in the spies on this. I think you need a real disaster from NVIDIA to hit this market down. Yeah, Apple's still trading up after hours, inexplicably.
Tanner Fitzgerald just asked a question I didn't understand. 8 of the 10 words he said. Black, this.
Yeah,
black,
I know.
black.
Even when I was reading like the NVIDIA preview, like be on the lookout for the whatever, and I was like, I'm not gonna remember that word.
Look for the racks. We making racks out here.
I feel like I'm just starting to understand like H20 and the whatever 200, and as soon as it's gonna be the 300. Like I'm just starting to get that down. Even just the name. I have no idea what they do, but I'm starting to understand what at least the names of the products are that this company sells.
And you got Hopper, Blackwell.
Yeah, the Blackwell 200 or whatever. Oh boy. No, I'm probably just gonna give this another 3 minutes here, and then it'll be 5:30, and I'll probably shut down the stream. There's an uptick right as I say that. Uptick right into a seller though, I think. Nope. Yep. Nope. Stock's improving a little bit. It's like 178 quarter area is important on the upside. It's the last pivot high. Not sure exactly what the price was because there's a false print up there. Crazy through print on the tape. It does seem like buyers regained a little bit of control. We're going to have to see where this thing settles out by end of day tomorrow, I think, to get a little more clarity. They buy this up or sell it down further. I feel like just given how AMD traded on... I thought that AMD's numbers in some ways were actually better than NVIDIA's numbers if you just kind of compare it to expectations. Like what I think the street was expecting. And they still sold that AMD down pretty nicely the next day. We got to see how this thing ends up trading tomorrow and where it settles out. Because this is the ultimate buy the dip stock. They got a new buyback. Numbers definitely weren't bad. It's just not that huge beat of expectations that I feel like a lot of people were looking for and expecting. It's a moderate beat. As I say, that NVIDIA is trading up to test that last little pivot area, test the 21 EMA on the after hours 5-minute chart. All right, well, we'll see if this level holds. Again, let's note our levels. This 178 quarter is important right now. 179.50 area is really important. And then 176 is a little bit important on the downside, but 175 is the big one. And then 172 is like the absolute low. So we'll remember that. I've been short the whole time, Sharir. short into the report. All right, so no problem, Mr. Old YouTube. I'm gonna end the afternoon meeting there. Have a great night. See you guys tomorrow. If I can walk after all the barbecue I'm gonna eat. Adios.